Time now for my review of Red Dead Redemption 2. I've had a few weeks to play the game, start to finish, as well as going back and playing it a little bit more. Now, when I did my first playthrough, it was on the PS4 Pro, and on my second playthrough, which has been mostly just, black hatting, a little bit of poker, hunting, fishing, some side action, I'm playing that on the Xbox One X. By the way, all my Red Dead Redemption 2 streams can be found in the Red Dead Redemption 2 playlist. So I think I got a pretty good grasp about what I want to do with my review of Red Dead Redemption 2. And the way my reviews go is pretty simple. We go over the pros, then the cons, and my verdict. By the way, you are welcome to give us your pros, your cons, your views and opinions, your review regarding Red Dead Redemption 2 below in the comment section. Alright, so let's get started with the pros, the graphics. 8 years Rockstar has spent building this game, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is a very beautiful world that we have in Red Dead Redemption 2. The gameplay is a lot of fun. There's so much to do in this game. We'll get to that in a moment. The sound, the sound is fantastic. From the sound of the wind to rustling of leaves and grass and trees and running water and animals, birds, plus the music. The music, beautiful. And it's scored by the same composer that did Red Dead Redemption, and I believe he took it up a notch on this one. It feels like everything has gone up a notch when it comes to Red Dead Redemption 2. The music is no exception. The story is fantastic, written by Dan Houser and his writing team. He also wrote Red Dead Redemption, and I love the story. The HUD options are very good. There's a variety of HUD options to choose from, depending on how you wish to play the game. Plus, there is third and first person modes. So if you prefer playing the game in third person, you can do so. First person mode has been improved from Red Dead Redemption 2 compared to current gen and PC versions of Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a sequel, but technically it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, and it's set in 1899, and it features the return of several key characters from Red Dead Redemption, including the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption, John Marston, along with his family, Abigail and Jack. Bear in mind that they're a little bit younger in Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as the leader of the Vanderlyn gang, Dutch Vanderlyn, Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, Uncle, as well as several new characters, including the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan, which many people believe is perhaps the best protagonist that Rockstar has ever created in any of their games. And I would definitely say that Arthur Morgan gives John Marston a run for his money. He is a very good character indeed, and the way they play Arthur Morgan, credit to the voice actor Roger Clark, is you can play him any way you want to. You can go white hat, you can go black hat, you can go gray hat. However, which way you play Arthur, it really feels natural that Arthur could go whichever direction you want Arthur to go. Now, speaking of white hat and black hat, the honor system has returned, and it has a major impact how Arthur's story plays out by the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. Just bear that in mind, whether or not you want to go white hat or black hat. Plus, there are several options in the game that you're going to be able to make a choice on, similar to Telltale games. But despite the fact that you have some choices with Arthur Morgan, there is still a linear story going from Chapter 1, and a lot of it you really can't change one way or the other. But the honor system definitely gives you a feel as to what you want your Arthur Morgan to be when it comes to how honorable or dishonorable, how much of a white hat or black hat you would like for him to be throughout Red Dead Redemption 2. The Deadeye system has been improved, and also introduced is the Eagle Eye system whenever you're hunting, especially whenever it's going after legendary animals. Very helpful when it comes to that. The greeting and antagonizing system also ties in to the honor system. You have the ability to greet most characters you come across, not just at the camp with members of the Vanderlyn gang, but various PCs throughout the world. And most of the time, you can greet them friendly, and they'll be friendly in return. Sometimes they're not very friendly, especially the rival gangs in Red Dead Redemption 2, but you also have the ability to antagonize as well as diffuse situations if you so desire, and you also will have the ability to rob people, because Arthur Morgan is an outlaw after all. Another pro is everything that is this game, from the main story, the side missions, all the various random encounters, along with the ability to go hunting, fishing, crafting, all the animals, wildlife, birds, and fish in the game. Nearly 200, I believe. There's tons of animals. And as I mentioned, there's also legendary animals as well. You can go bounty hunting. You can go treasure hunting for gold. There's lots of collectibles to be found, rare weapons, hats, as well as lots and lots of Easter eggs and a huge map that all of this stuff can be found in. There's definitely a lot of replay value when it comes to Red Dead Redemption 2, and there's also lots of weapons along with customization for those weapons. You got revolvers, pistols, repeaters, rifles, shotguns, the ability to customize them, upgrade them. There's also different ammo types you can craft, plus the introduction of the bow and arrow, which is awesome for hunting, as well as silent kills. There is a lot of clothing option, hats, coats, shirts, along with suspenders, boots, chaps, gloves, masks. The list goes on and on. The ability to grow hair, that's right, Arthur Morgan's hair will grow throughout the game, and you have the ability to shave that face and have it clean shaven, or grow a beard, or just a mustache, whatever you'd like to have. When it comes to Arthur Morgan's look, you also grow his hair out as well, so you can have short hair, he can go bald, you can have long hair. The ability to grow as well as cut and style hair along with the facial hair to whichever way you want Arthur to look definitely adds a lot of personalization when it comes to how you wish Arthur Morgan to not only look, but act throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. By the way, the length of Red Dead Redemption 2 is ridiculously long. There is a total of 6 chapters, along with 2 epilogues, which basically feels like a free DLC of sorts, or a free expansion to the game. And it is definitely much longer and bigger than Red Dead Redemption. Now, Red Dead Redemption is an awesome game, but I would say the maximum length that Red Dead Redemption has is probably 18, 20 hours, maybe longer if you want to go 100% in Red Dead Redemption. But you can end up going easily 50 to 60 plus hours in Red Dead Redemption 2. And coming soon, in just a few weeks from now, hopefully by the end of November, Red Dead Online, basically a free online game coming to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 for everyone that has Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. You'll be able to play Red Dead Online when it launches by the end of November, so it's added value to Red Dead Redemption 2, and definitely a pro in my opinion. Now we're going to mosey on over to the cons, and yeah, just like any of my reviews, when it comes to the various games I review, not many games, just the games I happen to play, along with DLCs for Grand Theft Auto Online, and in the future, DLCs for Red Dead Redemption Online. There are cons. That's just the way it goes. No matter how great a game is, there's going to be cons, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely no exception. Let's start off with the bugs. Despite the fact that Rockstar has spent 8 years crafting and building this game, there are bugs. Oh yes, there's bugs, there's glitches, there's other issues as well, but the good news is, just like with any game, Rockstar is probably working hard behind the scenes on a patch, and hopefully that patch will be out sooner rather than later, and hopefully it'll fix and resolve most of the issues that players are having when it comes to Red Dead Redemption 2. Other cons include the oversensitivity of the wanted system. It's a lot more complex now than it was in Red Dead Redemption 1, but that's not exactly for the better. I'll cite some examples for you, especially when you're like on your horse in town, like the big city of Saint Denis, which is based off New Orleans. It's very difficult to get around Saint Denis on your horse, because there's so many people walking around Saint Denis, and if you accidentally hit one of the people in Saint Denis, it's an assault. And all of a sudden, someone's going off calling the cops, you have a wanted level, the bounties start to stack up on you, and that's something that happens a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2. In fact, it feels like a lot of my money goes towards paying off the damn bounties. And if you have a bounty on you, whether it's $2 or $200 or more, bounty hunters will come after you. If it's just $20 to $30, at the most you have 2 bounty hunters coming after you at a time. But if it gets up to like 300 plus, then you end up getting, I believe, 6 bounty hunters plus several dogs. And sometimes it's not too difficult to take them out, especially with the right weapons and having some sort of strategy, advantage, and Deadeye at your disposal. But a lot of times, yeah, those bounty hunters are freaking relentless. Another issue I have with the bounty system is theoretically whenever you put a bandana over your face or a mask, theoretically whenever you go to rob a store or black hat, rob and kill, technically they're not supposed to be able to identify you. So even though you have a wanted level, you may have lawmen coming after you. They shouldn't be able to identify who you are as long as you have a bandana over your face or a mask. But unfortunately, yeah, that doesn't really work so well. The next con is fast travel. Now, there is a fast travel system in Red Dead Redemption 2. Technically, 3 fast travel systems. The train, a stagecoach, along with a camp upgrade regarding Arthur's tent. But it's a one-way fast travel system at the camp. So you can get the upgrade for fast travel to any of the towns or stations that you've visited, but it takes you in a one-way direction. You cannot fast travel back to camp. Now, when it comes to the trains and stagecoaches, yes, you can go to the nearest town where there's a train station or a stagecoach, and you can use that to fast travel throughout the map as well. Now, the stagecoach, it's not that big of a deal because, yeah, you can have the horse galloping along with you, but with the train, sometimes it's hit or miss. I've seen examples where the horse manages to keep up with the train from point A to point B, but sometimes the horse doesn't. And it's kind of interesting because in the movie Tombstone, at the beginning of the movie, the Earps arrive in Tombstone and their horses are clearly on their own car on the train that they arrive in. And I'm surprised that Rockstar didn't implement a similar car for the trains for fast travel. So you could just simply put your horse on the horse car on the train. That way you always have your horse with you whenever you're traveling by train throughout the map of Red Dead Redemption 2, but alas, that's not the case. In my opinion, fast travel in Red Dead Redemption was better because all you had to do was set up a camp, and that allowed you to fast travel to all the various locations that you had visited prior. But the next con regarding Red Dead Redemption 2 is game mechanics. They take a lot of getting used to. There's wills. You got the weapons wheel. But then Rockstar decided to add a few more wheels, including the items wheel and the horse wheel. And it's very difficult sometimes to decide which button is toggling to which. I mean, you get used to it after a while, going from like, right trigger, right button, left button. It's just complicated. And then you have to toggle between the different types of ammo you want to use for your revolver or for your bow and arrow. And then when it comes to the weapons themselves, Rockstar decided that you could only carry a limited number of weapons on your person, like dual wielding, like either like a pistol or revolver, 2 revolvers, 2 pistols, or along with a combination when it comes to dual wielding with either a pistol revolver in conjunction with a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun. But then you can carry 2 other weapons on you, like either a repeater, a bow and arrow, a rifle, or a shotgun, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with having limited weapons on your person. But the issue here is, instead of you being the walking arsenal, like John Marston in Red Dead Redemption, or the various characters in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, it makes your horse the walking arsenal. And it makes it a lot more complicated because sometimes you think you have that repeater or that sniper rifle or that shotgun or that bow and arrow on you. You get off your horse and you go down to point A or point B, wherever you're heading, and then you come to realize, wait, where's my bow and arrow? Where's my sniper rifle? Where's my repeater? It's back on the horse. And when it comes to weapons in general, I love the weapons, but we get so many of them throughout the game. And you have no way to sell or store those weapons. I mean, yes, you can store them on your horse, but then you have to toggle through all the weapons because all the weapons are like basically categorized together. And what I mean by that is the rifles, repeaters, sniper rifles, shotguns, the bow and arrow. 5 different categories are basically in one category. And you have to toggle through all of those. Even though you have 2 available slots you can put on your back for weapons, You have to tackle through basically all those categories to find the weapons you want. And there's a ton of them you pick up, like the rare weapons or older weapons early on in the game you no longer use, you still have in that inventory, and you can't put them into a storage section or go to a gunsmith and sell them. And I really wish that we had the ability to do one or both. For some reason, we cannot sell weapons in Red Dead Redemption 2. It doesn't make sense to me because you can sell a lot of stuff in this game, from animal pelt, meat, hearts, along with wagons, horses you end up stealing, but for some reason, the weapons you acquire in the game, you are unable to sell. What's really fascinating is you actually have a clothing chest at your camp, and you have all your clothing in there, along with your hats and everything else, and you have the ability to toggle through that and put stuff away in there, but you don't have a weapons locker to put all the weapons that you don't want on your horse or you have no intention of using after you get to a certain point, because you start off with a Cattleman revolver, but eventually you get better revolvers, or you get the volcanic pistol, or you get the Mauser pistol, or you get the Schofield pistol, or the double action revolver. In other words, you no longer feel like using the Cattleman revolver anymore, but it's still there in your inventory. It's taking up space. Now let's move on to cinematic mode. Now technically I should have put cinematic mode over in the pro section along with the auto travel ability, because I do feel like this is convenient. Even though the fast travel system is there, it's not the best fast travel system. This is a good way to auto travel across the map whenever you're taking a long journey. You set to cinematic mode, then you hold down either A or X depending on whether or not you have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It takes a little trial and error in order to get the auto travel to work. Of course, you got to set a waypoint, obviously. I think most of you know that by now. But the cinematic mode, yeah, it's nice, it's pretty. In fact, that's what I'm using as B-roll right now for the review. And it's great whenever you have to get up and you just don't want to sit there. You want to go, like, fix a sandwich, use the restroom, go feed your pets, etc. And you know it's going to be at least 5 minutes before you get from, point A to point B. But things tend to go wrong during cinematic mode. Not always, but it does happen. For example, your horse running into other horses, killing someone else's horse along with other riders, or pissing off other riders and they start shooting at you and they kill you and you're not even anywhere near your controller at the time. And it sucks whenever you do kill the horse and the driver, like I did the other day whenever I was streaming. And, another rider comes up, and basically I get a bounty on me for murder, even though technically I wasn't really guilty of murdering him. It was a fluke of the cinematic mode and auto travel. But you run into all sorts of things, whether it's other horses, people walking down the road, wagons, sometimes even rocks are unavoidable. So yeah, I think cinematic mode and auto travel need to be tweaked just a little bit. Plus, another issue I have with cinematic mode and auto travel is whenever there's danger, say a predator approaching you, or you have a gang coming after you, or some sort of roadblock or ambush, and that does happen in Red Dead Redemption 2, it keeps you in cinematic mode. So you have to manually go out of cinematic mode in order to deal with that danger. And I feel like whenever there's danger in the game, you should automatically be kicked out of cinematic mode, even if it means you die anyways, because, like I mentioned, you're off getting something to eat in the next room or restroom or doing chores. It's annoying because you're sitting there, you're trying to get out of cinematic mode while you know that there's a bear, wolves chasing you, or Driscoll's trying to hold you up, or Lemoyne Raiders. It's kind of annoying, and sometimes you don't really realize you're in trouble until it's too late. So taking it out of cinematic mode, or else flashing something on the screen to indicate that there's danger nearby, that would probably be very helpful. So you're like, oh crap, or maybe like the screen, the outline of the screen goes red, like a flash of red, and that lets you know, like, okay, there's a problem up here. I've got a predator to deal with or a gang nearby. I better go out of cinematic mode and deal with them. And then after I'm done with that, I can go back into auto travel and cinematic mode. But yeah, some issues I have with the way the cinematic mode and auto travel is. Next, let's talk about looting. I absolutely love looting. Most of you know that to watch my streams. It's Diablo's fault because I love playing Diablo all the way back from the original to Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. So that's where I kind of got my loot addiction. And there's looting galore in Red Dead Redemption 2, from looting shelves to chests to boxes to bodies. and it takes a very long time to loot bodies. Now, there's a way to quickly loot through chests and quickly loot through shelves and stuff, but looting bodies is a process. And I really wish you could just have like a rush loot where you just quickly loot, grab the money, grab the pocket watches, grab the rings, grab the necklaces. And I wish there was a quicker process when it comes to skinning animals. It just goes very, very slow, especially when you have several bodies to loot. It could be a bit faster. Now skinning animals, okay, I kind of get that. There's plenty of people out there that are very squeamish that would prefer skinning animals to be a little different, maybe similar to the way it is in Red Dead Redemption 1. But the looting is really the one I have the issue with because, like I mentioned, it takes a lot of time to loot bodies. And there's plenty of times throughout the game, whether it's a mission or at the end of a gang firefight, where you don't really have time to loot all those bodies. Either A, you have Dutch yelling at you, as Angry Joe pointed out in his review, or B, there's a cutscene that triggers, and at the end of the cutscene, it just moves on to the next event, or it sends you back to camp, and no more bodies to loot. I want to loot all the bodies. I want all the money. I want all their goods. I want their belt buckles, even the silver ones, because I can just put that shit in the donation box back at camp. But yes, I want to be able to actually loot. So there's several times in the game, especially in like main story missions, where you just don't have that opportunity. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So in that situation, it really doesn't make any sense to loot whenever it's not even going to allow you to loot in the first place. Next, let's move on to the camp itself. Several issues with the camp. First off, let's talk about slow mode. This is something a lot of people, myself included, have been annoyed with. You go into camp, and all of a sudden, you have to walk slow. Or you're trying to walk as fast as you can, and it's slow as hell. It's annoying. Very annoying indeed. And all you want to do is, like, donate the meat that you just got for Pearson to keep the camp fed, or go back to your chest, shave, get some quick sleep so it can, the time lapse can go to morning again. But it's just going very, very, very slow. So I wish it wasn't the case in this game. And that's the same problem whenever you're trying to take, say, a horse into a stable, or, like a wagon you've stolen into the wagon fence at Emerald Ranch. It just starts to go really, really slow when you're trying to take the horse or the wagon into the various barns that they're located in. And that's very annoying. But no matter what you give to the camp, this is one thing that really irks me. No matter how much you give, whether it comes to hunting for deer, turkeys, etc., or how much money you donate, and no matter how much money you put into upgrading the camp, you'll have gang members come across you, like Mrs. Grimshaw, whining about why you haven't donated to the camp in a while. You go to the ledger, you open the damn ledger, and look who's donated the most money. Arthur Morgan. Yet he's not doing enough for the camp. He's providing the food, especially when there's other hunters and fishermen in the camp that could go out there and fish and hunt for the camp as well. No, it's all on your back. It's all on Arthur Morgan's back, and it's annoying, and the camp is extremely ungrateful whenever you're gone for a few days or you haven't put $1 into the damn box, even though you've already fully upgraded the camp and you got them with full supplies of food, medicine, ammo. It's still not enough, and it's just annoying as hell. And a final couple of cons. These are not as big of a deal, but this one kind of sort of surprised me because I was really hoping and expecting this revolver to be in Red Dead Redemption 2. By the way, it was in Red Dead Redemption. No Lamar revolver. That's like one of my favorite revolvers in Red Dead Redemption. Plus, I love it in Westworld. It's used by Ed Harris's character, the Man in Black. I love that revolver. And for the life of me, I don't know why Rockstar doesn't have that as one of the revolvers we can purchase and customize and upgrade in Red Dead Redemption 2. Hopefully that'll be a weapon we see down the road in Red Dead Online, or in perhaps even a possible Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC. Maybe, maybe not. And finally, a confusing name. So this is kind of a joke con. I usually have them at the end of my cons. The name. Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't really have a problem with that name, even though I was expecting something else, because technically the first game in the series is Red Dead Revolver, followed by Red Dead Redemption. I was expecting like Red Dead Revolution or something with an R, but alas, it's Red Dead Redemption 2, which would make most people believe that it's a sequel to Red Dead Redemption. Now, as we pointed out already a few times, no, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. Whereas Red Dead Redemption was set in 1911, Red Dead Redemption 2, 1899. But it's small potatoes. Still, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Okay, so there you go. My pros, my cons. Time now for my verdict. Red Dead Redemption 2 is not perfect, despite the fact you had several gaming sites out there giving it perfect scores, like, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. I disagree with those scores, but at the same time, this is a damn good game. It is a great game. It's a fantastic game. It's easily a contender for Game of the Year, up there with God of War, Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man. It's up there already, and it's only been out for a few weeks. This is a fantastic game. Despite its flaws, Rockstar has made another classic in Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 gives, and continues to give the players more than their money's worth, and in my opinion, is a worthy sequel, prequel to Red Dead Redemption. Now, Red Dead Redemption is one of my favorite games of all time, and so is John Marston as a protagonist, but Arthur Morgan, he's up there. It's like John Marston, Arthur Morgan, side by side. It's hard to pick between the two, and I love it when they have time together throughout the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. It's so awesome to see those two together, because they have kind of like a brother-sibling rivalry thing going on, and it's fantastic, along with all their characters, main characters, returning characters, new characters, side characters that you encounter. Despite a few delays and 8 years of waiting, Red Dead Redemption 2 was most definitely well worth the wait. Feel free to give me your thoughts, your views, your opinions, your review of Red Dead Redemption 2 below in the comments section.